In today's video, I am going to show you a hidden coloring technique. That's what I call it. I have stamped this image with Altenew mixed media ink onto a piece of matte Duralar. Duralar is my stand-in for both vellum and Yupo paper. I just love it for a lot of reasons that I will talk about. And I'm using polychromos pencils to color on the back side of the vellum. So I'm not coloring on the stamped side, I'm coloring on the opposite side. I did heat set this ink, which makes it permanent on non-porous surfaces like Duralar, which is magical. And I'm just very quickly coloring these images and not spending a lot of time blending, but you can see how from the other side it looks very blended and soft. So this hidden coloring is a way to take sort of the time-consuming process of blending colored pencils together out completely. And the frosty look of the Duralar does some of that work for you. I don't typically do colored pencil on larger projects like this just because it is so time consuming to blend, but this process takes all that work out for me, and so I love it. And it's also a great way to spotlight an image, as I'm doing here, meaning just one portion of the image is colored. But if I were using, let's say, luminance or polychromos pencils to blend these sections together, I would be going over and over them multiple times. And as you can see, I'm really just putting stripes of overlapping color. And then from the other side, it's softened and gives it a blended look when I really haven't done very much work at all. So maybe instead of hidden coloring, I should have called it lazy coloring, because really that's what it is. Now, it will de-intensify the color a little bit as well, so go with brighter colors than you're used to. I chose 3 pretty bright colors here, but I just like this color scheme and the way that it looks through the vellum. It sort of glows, actually. That's one of the things I really like about it. Adds a little bit of light. Now, I'm keeping this process pretty simple. I'm not doing any detailed shading, no deep dark shadows even, really just letting the color shine through the Duralar. When I set this up for this project, I put my card base into my Misti and I stamped the image. Then I positioned the Duralar where I wanted it to be over the image. And then I removed the card, leaving the Duralar in the Misti, and then stamped on top of it. And that way it's in the perfect spot that I had imagined it for the front of my card. Now, another magical thing about these polychromos pencils and the Duralar, it has a really unique soft finish, so it grabs the pencil in a unique way. But the other cool thing about it is you can completely erase the pencil off of the Duralar. So I accidentally colored a portion of this on the front, on the stamped side, instead of on the back, and I just used my eraser to erase it and erased it perfectly. Now, the reason that you want to color on the back and get this beautiful blended look is also that it allows you a little bit of wiggle room with your coloring. I don't have to be as precise around the edges of the image because I'm not covering up that inked portion. The ink is on the front side. And see, here's where I was like, oops, I colored on the front and not the back. All I have to do is just take a white eraser. It's completely gone. So anyway, around the edges of each petal, I don't have to be as precise. I can go over the lines a little bit because the crispness of that image is preserved on the front, on the stamped side. So that's another way that it sort of speeds up the coloring with this technique. And you don't have to overstamp the image when you're finished, like you do sometimes with colored pencil if you're obscuring those stamped lines just a little bit. This is all preserved beautifully detailed, perfect on the front stamp side of the image. So cover up anything you want on the back. Now, if you keep it simple and you just go with 2 or 3 colors, this goes really, really quickly. And I chose sort of a greenish turquoise and then that fuchsia color. And so in between those, I took a blue that blended with both of them, just so that it was like a bridge in the coloring. I mounted that piece on craft to really show off the coloring. Thanks so much for watching.